Hello, my fellow humans, and welcome back to Scatter Love Tarot with your girl coming at you with another pick a card reading. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for anybody that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. And if you are interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member here on the channel. With that being said, today we are doing a channeled message. I've been waiting to do this for a while. This is a channeled message a couple of weeks ago. A source wanted me to wait, and today finally came in that, yes, this is the one we're going to do, and that is a message from your inner shaman. I am just, I can't tell you how excited I am to do this reading. It's going to show. But I am using the Wild Unknown Alchemy Oracle deck by Kim Kranz because this is so fitting for this type of reading. I've already given this deck a shuffle, but before we get into picking your cards out, let us go ahead and start with the prayer and get this reading underway. Oh, I'm so glad it's here. I have another channeled one that I've been waiting to do. And yeah, I'm excited to do that one too. But this one, when Source is like, okay, it's time, I was like, yes. Oh. All right. All right. My beloved Source, this prayer is for any and all who come onto this reading, whether it's for the entire time or for just a moment's time. We're asking for guidance. We're asking for wisdom. We're asking for clarity at this time. You know, life can be hectic and full of unforeseen circumstances, and sometimes we never know exactly what's going to come or what's going to happen, and I know that's all by design. But it doesn't mean that we can't receive this guidance that you're bringing to us. It doesn't mean that we can't connect deeply with our higher selves and get that clarity that we've been seeking. You are always just a prayer away, and our higher self is literally a question away. And sometimes it takes true courage and strength to come into silence in this very noisy and loud world. And today I ask that you bring our hearts into a moment of peace and bring our minds into a moment of silence, so that we can grasp and hear the messages that you're bringing forth to us to help guide us along our path of purpose, to help guide us into alignment with our higher selves, and to help bring us to the rightful journey and path that was meant for us to travel all along. I ask that you give my fellow humans strength, you give them courage, you give them resilience. Above all this, I pray that you bring them hope, happiness, and love, and support. Source, as these words are spoken unto my collective and upon this reading, so shall they be. Amen. Aho. Ase. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my beloved Source. Thank you. All right, let's get that set up over here. Okay, so these cards are kind of awkward for me to shuffle. I'm going to do my best. I already shuffled, fan shuffled them before I got on. But I'm going to do my best to shuffle these so that we can pick out cards for each pile. Okay? So, Source, for pile number 1, which Alchemist Oracle card will help us better understand the message from pile number 1's inner shaman? What's a message from pile number 1's inner shaman? Thank you. All right. Source, for pile number 2, what Alchemist Oracle card will help us better understand the message from pile number 2's inner shaman? The message from pile number 2's inner shaman, Source. What Oracle card will help us better understand the message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Okay, thank you. All right, and source for pile number 3. Which alchemist oracle card will help us better understand the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? Okay. Let's see. Let's do them this way today. All right, let's check out the bottom of the deck, just because I feel like definitely need a collective reading on this one. Okay, we've got coagulation. And it's interesting because when we think about coagulation, it's a couple of things. It's kind of like thinking about when your blood coagulates, right? Like it actually gains some kind of substance to it. It's not just liquid anymore. There's like a blockage there, right? And so it feels like there's a lot of blockage right now going on in your life, but that's also a really beautiful thing because it means that there's something powerful beneath the blockage. Like there's something that your emotional ego's been trying to save you from, or thinking that it's saving you from, when in reality, it's your soul and your spirit trying to break free and come through and be seen. So there's like a gem that's hidden inside. And you can kind of see glimpses of it here, right? Like you can see the glimpses of it here and there. But it feels like there's just this tangled mess that you have to go through. And I feel like the thing is that your inner shaman is reminding you that while it might seem absolutely impossible, and while it might seem like this massive mess that you have to untangle, it's like untangling yarn. It's sometimes so frustrating. But if you become very present with this moment and sit with whatever it is that's rising up, you're going to find that it actually becomes a lot easier to untangle the hardships that are inside and on your mind and emotional baggage that's been weighing you down. And you're going to free yourself from something that actually really wasn't as tangled as you thought it was. It's just, it seemed like a big mess. And that mess just seemed to get bigger and bigger the more emotions that we poured into it. And that was exactly what the emotional ego wanted, right? So this is all about untangling and unfurling into the beautiful soul and to the magnificent energy that you have within. But it's going to take time. And I feel like with the coagulation here, it's all about stopping, right? We talk about going with the flow, but there's an energy here that's saying it's time for you to stop for just a second, take a breath, and let things build and actually spend time facing this part of yourself so that you can find the treasure within. I really like these cards so much. Okay. So, for pile number 1, we have this beautiful piece of amethyst for you to choose from. Okay. For pile number 2, we have this beautiful moonstone for you to choose from. And for pile number 3, we have this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli for you to choose from. So pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3, and whichever pile you feel drawn to, that should be for you. And with that, I will see you there. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of amethyst, Or if you were drawn to this dice or this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be your reading on messages from your inner shaman. If you didn't catch the intro, I did do a collective reading in the intro, but also I mentioned in there how excited I am to be doing this for you. So let's go ahead and get this underway. I do want to say quickly, though, thank you for those of you that continue to support this channel. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anybody new here, welcome. This is that reminder where all here sharing this human experience, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that, let's find out what are the messages from pile number 1's inner shaman source who would like to come through today. What are the messages from pile number 1's inner shaman? What would you like to bring forth today for pile number 1? What are the messages for pile number 1's inner shaman? I love that the moon came out and that was the symbol that I picked to put on the picture. But we've got the moon, Leo, and the 4th house. A lot of Cancer energy here. A lot of Leo energy. Healing home discrepancies and facing old dramas. It feels like this is something that has been going on for a while, or it's like, I don't want to go back home. I don't want to see family because there's always just so much going on. Someone here could be very controlling. They could be very aggressive, domineering, vain, and egotistical. Always in it for the glamour, the popularity, wants to be the center of attention. And we see here with the 4th house and the moon energy, it could be a mother. Okay, this could be you dealing with the mother wound. It doesn't have to be. This could be a father or a sibling who might be a Cancer or a Leo or have those highly aspect in their chart. But it does feel like it's been a lack of nurturing for you for a very long time. This was a foundational situation that created more chaos in your adult life or as you got older. And it's something now that's coming back up, and your inner shaman is asking, let's face this so that we can learn how to really take care of ourselves and really be there for ourselves in the way that we need to, but also allowing ourselves to have fun with life again. I feel like for you, pile number 1, it has been really difficult to smile or to laugh. Like, what is laughter? I just heard that. I heard someone like, what is laughter? What is that? It's almost like you've forgotten how to enjoy the silly things in life because it's numbing yourself to the pain that this has caused, has actually numbed you to experiencing even the little funs and joys in life. And I feel like you have at some point gotten really good at wearing the mask or playing the parts. So it's like if someone tells a joke and you notice the whole room is laughing, you laugh along too, but you might be like, oh, that was such a dumb joke, or oh, that was not even worth laughing about. And it's like finding something that makes you laugh. Like if you laugh because of just something coming up, it almost surprises you, like, whoa, where did that come from? Or you're healing now and you're starting to find fun, like things are funny again and you're starting to laugh again, and it's like, wow, where did that come from? Or you really enjoy that feeling and you might try to recreate it as much as possible, but then it feels like because you're trying to recreate it as much as possible, you lose it almost as quickly as it comes up. And it comes from that domineering person in your life. It's like forcing you to always be in survival mode and forcing you to always try to be in this energy of like taking care of yourself and even possibly taking care of them, or feeling like you had to put up these shields to defend yourself from this person's energy and from their very overpowering ego. Like this person just couldn't stand the fact that someone else might like you more than them, or that you could have friends and they wouldn't have your friends as their friends. Or, you know, it's like everything that you did, it feels like they had their hand in your life. And this feels very overwhelming, and it feels very much like a very codependent situation, but it also feels extremely threatening. Like, I cannot face this because it's so threatening, because dealing with this person was very threatening. So your inner shaman is bringing this to light. Like, we're trying to help you have space in your life so that you can lighten up and feel lighthearted again. And I feel like that's something that seems like just a dream, like a distant dream to you, Pile One. Well, already. I told you, I like these kinds of messages because they help us heal on a deeper level. All right, so let's find out what's going to come in. So, Source, what is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Yeah, feeling hopeless, like maybe wondering if you are really a good person at times. Like, maybe I deserve this, or maybe this person is right, or maybe it's like I deserve this from something I did before in my life, or this sense of like being disconnected from self is coming from a lot of different things, but it really stems from this mother wound, or this childhood wound from someone in your life who is like, I have to be in control and I have to be in charge of everything that you do. I can't give you a choice to live your life, because if I gave you a choice to live your life, then I wouldn't have a hand in the cookie jar. Wow, this is a really strong energy coming in. What is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Yeah. What is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Source, what is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Thank you. What is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Okay, Temperance. Also, there's this energy of coming in saying, like, this is so terrible. Like, I'll never be able to forgive this person. This person created this for me. Like, it's their fault I'm the way that I am. And, you know, it's not to say that that's not the truth, but that's a lot of resentment to hold on to. And holding on to that resentment actually prevents us from manifesting what we desire in life, because blame and resentment are probably the most overpowering negative energies that there are. They create a lot of dissonance within our soul. They create a lot of disconnection with others in our lives. Like, it creates a lot of internal turmoil. And so it's learning how to balance the shadow. Like, it's okay, pile one, that you feel that way. It's okay that you feel like this person was the worst person in your life. Like, it's okay to, like, it's odd to say this, but it's okay to hate them, right? Like, my mom always told me growing up, hate is such a strong word. We can dislike someone, but we can never hate someone. But sometimes people really just do us wrong, that it's like, no, like, I really hate this person. But because of that statement, why I brought that up, because of that statement, like, we're told by people not to hate others, right? Like, it's terrible for us to hate others. And it is for us in the long run, like, to hold on to that hate. It's definitely something that's bad for us. But what your inner shaman is saying is that it's important for you to observe that hate and to validate it for yourself so that you can free yourself from the burden of it, right? And that's where forgiveness comes in. And I already feel the resistance, pile one, to forgiveness. Like, forgiving this person feels like it's just out of the question. And maybe at this time, it's not about forgiving this other person as much as it's forgiving whatever part you feel like you played in that, right? It's okay, like, oh, you're blaming this other person. It's okay to point the finger, but usually when we're projecting like that, no matter how a person's shown up in our lives, there's some part of ourselves that we're blaming deep down. And it's like, the louder we get trying to blame this person to make it all this person's fault, it's just to cover up that part of ourselves that we're truly blaming, or that we feel really mad at. And like, I can't even face that part of myself. And that's what your inner shaman is talking about here. It's just the illusion that's coming through here. So let's see on the bottom. Look, the moon came out again for you. Yeah, this is purging of the subconscious. Feels very dangerous, right? This feels very dangerous. Facing this part of yourself feels very uncomfortable. And, you know, shamanistic work is uncomfortable. It's like putting us on blast sometimes. Like if you've ever done any type of journeying, or if you've done like ayahuasca, or if you've gone and had shamanistic healing or anything like that, like it's uncomfortable. It's because it takes away everything outside of us, and in turn we're facing the mirror. And to face the mirror oftentimes is the scariest part. And even no matter how far you've healed, like there are always going to be bits and pieces from our past that come up that we never thought we would have to deal with again. And so we've probably forgotten about them along the way. But then it's like coming up and it's facing ourselves, and it's like, oh, like I thought I would never have to face this part of myself again. That's why I buried it so deep. And we know on the healing journey, like that's just not how it works, right? Like our purpose is to unburden ourselves from all the things that have become unbearable, and all the things that keep us from being who we truly are at our soul. And so there's definitely an illusion at play here. But if we can come into this space of blending the opposites, you have the promise of actually letting go and releasing that subconscious hold on you and freeing yourself from the burden of the past, right? Let's see what this card is here. Yeah, it's a choice. For the Lover card to come out right in the center in the upright, it's a choice. It's easy to go towards the things that we're always comfortable with, or the things that we've always known, or the things that always make sense, or whatever it is. It's easy to go towards those things that keep us from our healing. But we know that the honor comes from us facing the truth of ourselves. And it's not to justify what this person has done to you, or even what anybody in your life has done to you. It's not about that. But no matter what, all relationships, it takes two to tango, right? Like at some point in time, we're dancing in the cosmic soul dance with their soul. And whether that's by choice, or if that's by, you know, subconscious conditioning, we have to honor that part of ourselves that said, I'm dancing with this other person, even though I know it's not healthy, and I know it's toxic, and I know it's overwhelming and difficult, and I know I'm going to get hurt in the end. And it's like we've given excuse after excuse, or we've given, you know, we tried to dust under the red flags, all the red flags under the carpet. And, you know, we're just trying to hide from the fact that we don't want to listen to our intuition because we want our emotional ego to be right in this situation, which is where the triggers come from. That's our emotional ego wanting to be right, to be heard, to be seen, to be the loudest one in the room so that people can say, yeah, you know what, you're right. But right now, it feels like this keeps surfacing, and it's like easy enough because you've done it so many times to push it down. And your inner shaman is like, it's time for us to face this part of ourselves. It's time for us to be honest about what it is that we're experiencing here. And it's time for us to really, truly begin this healing process and the integration that, yeah, we played a part in all of these connections at some point. Like, even if it was when you were a kid, you didn't have a choice, right? We were dependent on our parents. But say, like, when you did have a choice of whether or not to see your parents again, you still went back and saw your parents. Now you're playing a part in that, right? And maybe it's not your parents. Maybe it's dealing with a past relationship that you feel like you overstayed and knowing it was toxic. And it's like forgiving yourself for those moments when you knew you had a choice, but you were unable to make the choice that served your highest good. When you start to let go of that resentment for yourself internally, then all the resentment and the blame for others begins to dissipate as well. And that feels scary, because who am I without this blame, without this hate, without this anger? Who am I? But that's also the mystery of it, And it's also something that's incredibly exciting because that's exactly what you get to figure out is who you are without all of those burdens. And so your inner shaman is asking you to purge your emotional well-being here and to dig deep. And this might be something, pile one, that you need to do with the help of a licensed professional. Okay? This is difficult for anyone to do by themselves. All right? And so maybe doing like, I just heard hypnotherapy, like that was something that just came in really loudly right now. Like, but maybe going to a therapist, maybe going to a shaman or doing something like that, like really connecting with someone who can help you release your burdens and help you really face that part of yourself in the mirror. Yeah, it's like this excessive belief that I have to hold on to what's happened to me with with the Knight of Coins in the reverse here. It's like this excessive need, obsessive. It's an obsessive need from the emotional ego saying, I have to hold on to the identity of what's happened to me, of all the people who have hurt me. But here we have with the Three of Swords on the bottom under this, is that Source is trying to help you. Your higher self is trying to help you. Your inner shaman, that healing part of yourself, is trying to help you relieve yourself from the burden of this hurt and this pain. And it's not easy. This is a very deep message already. I want to get some clarifiers real quick. See, can we clarify this reading, Source? Okay. What else? What is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Okay. What is the message from pile number one's inner shaman? Okay. On the bottom, look, already. When you heal, you will slowly move forward into this realm, feeling more grounded, feeling more whole, and feeling more complete. And the thing is, pile one, is that you're already a complete being. Like, there's nothing about you that is incomplete. Even if it feels that way, that's the illusion. And the emotional ego holds on to that illusion because it wants to feel unique, but it doesn't want to feel separate. And the reality is that we're actually all unified, but each of us is unique, right? And so that truth is already there, but the ego doesn't think that it is. And so the emotional ego is saying like, no, I can't let go. I have to believe in the illusion. But you have a choice to believe in the illusion with the Lover here, to believe in the illusion or to believe in the healing. And that will always be your choice, pile number one. No one can make that for you. You have to want to do that for yourself. Repeat messages. This feels like spiritual abandonment with the Lovers in the reverse. Like, I feel like I've been spiritually abandoned by Source, by my angels, by my guides. Like, why would they allow me to go through such harrowing experiences if they truly loved me? And the truth is, pile number one, at the end of the day, people are going to always do people. Like, they're going to be peopling. Like, that's it. People will always be peopling, right? It's just what they do. It's not that Source allowed this to happen to you. It's the fact that Source is not there to interfere with our free will. And that means the free will of people who are very low vibrational. And even if that's interfering with the situation of the higher vibrational beings, Source is there simply as a silent guide to help us along. And you've never been abandoned. And in fact, I feel like when this was happening is when you were held even deeper in Source's bosom and was definitely given as much comfort as they were able to give you. But when we're in a state of fear, or we're in a state of terror, and we're in a state of anger and hurt and betrayal, it's incredibly difficult for us to feel that love. Because ultimately what happens is the why comes through. Why did this happen? Why did I experience this? What was the purpose of this? And can you be okay, pile one, if there really was no purpose other than people were peopling? It doesn't feel like a good enough excuse, and I know that, but ultimately that's exactly what it is. It's not about being in the wrong place at the right time. It's not about being at the right place at the wrong time. It's not about any of that. It's not even about like, oh, it made you stronger. If you can strip all of that away and just look at the truth of the situation, is that people were peopling. And without regard as to who that was going to affect in their wake. And if it hadn't been you, it would have been someone else. And I can't imagine that that feeling makes you feel any better either, right? And so it's not that it's okay if you want to look for a purpose, but the problem with this, and the problem with something as heavy as this that's coming through right now, is that no excuse that can be given to you will ever be weighty enough to say like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Right? Like, even if I tell you right now, like, this is making you a stronger person, it made you so resilient, it made you capable of dealing with everything that you've ever dealt with in life. And then the question still arises, well, yeah, but isn't there other things that would have taught me that weren't as awful as this? Right? And so that always sits in the back of our mind. And sometimes we have to strip away trying to look for a purpose here. You weren't spiritually abandoned. But Source can't come in and strike down everyone. Right? That just kind of would defeat the purpose. And I know that they talk about that like in religion, oh, smote thee, and this, that, and the other. But in this day and age, maybe that's how it was back then. I mean, we could only assume. But in this day and age, at where we're at this moment, Source is really a silent helper. Yes, Source will protect us when it comes to matters of life, right? Like if we're meant to live a certain amount of time and there's some situation, Source will protect us. But it's not like Source doesn't do this whole like, let me put my hand in here and smote someone that treated you awfully. Because this person had a choice to make. They had a choice to protect you, or they had a choice to hurt you. And they used their free will to go the way that they did. And so Source is doing everything in their power to help guide you to a place where you trust yourself, where you trust your intuition, and you trust the signs and synchronicities that you're being given. Yeah, to have hope again. But the hope comes from you choosing the path that aligns with your highest good that you feel is right for you. Maybe you feel like staying in this place right now is okay for you. Like this is the best place for you. I'm not here to tell you that's right or wrong. Right? You have to take from this what you will. You have to take from this what you gain. And listen to your intuition always. Yeah. It's difficult to commit to healing when it doesn't seem like life gets any easier, right? Like life still has its ups and downs. Life still is hard. Life is still difficult. But you have to understand healing from something that's this heavy, right, is always going to be slow going once you get started. Like there's no, I'm going to do this healing and tomorrow I'll be 1,000% better. But we as humans expect that. Everything is at our fingertips. And so we also expect our healing to be at our fingertips like that. And it's not. It's not. And so your inner shaman here is asking you to take the slow road and trust the process and trust that things will get better. And it's not that life gets easier. You get stronger. And sometimes that feels like it's not enough. But it is, because you, as you heal, gain more clarity and more tools to show up in a balanced, harmonious place to where you're not uprooted by when circumstances happen outside of your control. But Source and your inner shaman are here to remind you that you've never been spiritually abandoned. In fact, I feel like you have an incredibly powerful spiritual team, and the more that you connect, the more you're going to feel that. And it takes time and practice. I mean, look, I can give you a little bit of my own experience in this, right? Just so that you know it takes time and practice. I have been a tarot reader for 9 years. I believe it's been 9 years. It's been a long time. But I'm still meeting guides. Like, I'm still meeting my spiritual team. Like, randomly a guide will come in and they're like, hey, I'm this, and this guide. And I'm like, oh, well, where have you been? And they're like, I've been with you always. It's just now you're ready to actually connect with me. And I'm like, oh. But it's like I meet one guide at a time, and then I get really acquainted with that guide. And then another guide comes in because now I have opened myself up to receiving that. And so it's just trusting in that process, trusting yourself first. I had to trust myself first. Like, I didn't even connect with any guides until I was 2 years in, and trusting my intuition. So trust your intuition first, pile one. But your inner shaman wants you to begin healing this and uprooting this from your soul. This is like a stain on your soul, and it's holding on, and it's just like there's a lot of black marks I see all over your body. And this is not to scare you, right? This is very energetic. And so there are days when you feel like you can't get out of bed, or there are days when you feel very depressed, or there are days when you feel like you're achy all over. And I'm seeing a lot really in the chest. Like, I feel like sometimes maybe you have panic attacks that feel like heart attacks, because it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to die. Like I can't even catch my breath. I can't breathe. Or like in the side, I'm feeling this really odd pain down my left side, kind of like where the oblique is. And also I feel like in both of my hips and my thighs. So this is all about your stability. Think about the core, right? So if we think about the obliques, that's attached to our core. It's also attached to our solar plexus, which is where we find power, our internal power, our willpower. We look at our legs. Our legs are what power us through life, right? We think about our chest. That's where we're able to love and be loved, our heart chakra, and be able to breathe in life to ourselves and vitality into ourselves. But no one can do that for us. And your inner shaman is reminding you that here, when you gather the strength, you'll be the one to save yourself from this travesty, right? It's long and done with. Like it's way in the past, but it's also something that still needs to be healed, because even if it happened 30 years ago, right? Just an example, if it happened 30 years ago, you're still holding on to it. It still feels like it's happening over and over again, right? Like we're reliving it, or we're reliving wounds that remind us of that. And so letting it go can be sometimes one of the hardest things. Look, talking about relationships. Profound relationships, intimacy, and romantic partnerships. So this has affected you on various different levels in your life, including your connections. It's like hard for you to connect with people. You may feel very alone in the world because you can't find people to connect with. But now it's time for you to take action, right? Proactivity, expression, doing, and forward motion with Yang. We have Aries, Leo, Sag, and Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. So taking action towards yourself, right? Solar plexus and heart chakra energy coming through. Not being afraid to let yourself be seen. It's almost like a panic attack when you think about letting yourself be seen, or letting yourself express the dream that you want to express in life, because that's what it feels like is buried. It's like I can't even express the way I want to express because I've got all this stuff that's just weighing on me. It's like there's some sort of fear that's attached to that. It's like looking over your shoulder here with the little bird, right? And it's just this energy of the past that's holding on. Look, 35, trust the guidance you're receiving. Archangel Uriel has blessed you with a brilliant epiphany, and I'm also present to clear away your worries so you can trust your divine guidance. Yes, and that comes from trusting yourself too. Okay, so let's get one of these. Message from the inner shaman. Thank you. We have dog on the bottom. Your loyalty and faithfulness is misplaced by serving too many masters. Right? And I feel like that's just looking for people who love you, looking for people who can support you, looking for people who you want them to see who you are. We've got Earth and Water Dragon. I think this is the first time this one's ever come out. It says, create the foundation for new growth. A fresh start is coming and new opportunities. Nurture your ideas and harvest the abundance. Yes. And then on the bottom, we've got the dark blue galactic dragon. Helps you listen to the voice of the universe, right? And what do we have over here? Trust the guidance you're receiving. Ignite the codes of your master blueprint across cosmic wisdom and inner higher service. Yeah, Source has been trying to talk to you. I feel like you're receiving these downloads and sometimes you're questioning it, whether you should listen to it or not, because of a fear. Like, I've tried to listen to that in the past, but it hasn't helped me at all. So what's the point of listening to it now? But there's everything. That's everything for you to listen to it now. Do we have 35 again? Yeah, 35 again. Look, 35 coming out already, synchronistic coming into your reading. Trust the path, or the path ahead will be different. From now on, you will follow the path of transformation. Pay close attention to your quality of life. Look at these two green dragons. The heart chakra and grounding yourself from a heart-centered place. Okay, and 35 is 8 in numerology, and so it's about letting go of karmic patterns and toxic patterns that have been holding you back. And on the bottom, we have Ire and Othala with strive for your words, thoughts, and deeds and shape your life according to your desires. The magic required for this is entering your life now. So this is all about clearing out those negative thoughts. This is all about clearing out those feelings like, oh my gosh, like I'm not worthy of getting what I want. I'm not worthy of having the things I desire. This is about how you talk to yourself. Flexibility. Find strength in the tentacles of the intangible, where softness overcomes rigidity in the intangible. Source energy. Adapt to change and exhibit flexibility. Wow. Let's get one more of these. What else, Source? Okay, that's the one that wants to come out. Put that there. On the bottom, we have next level. An opportunity will open that seems like fantasy. Trust your vision. Dare to dream. Right? You're going through some sort of portal here, and the portal requires you, in order for you to gain access to this portal, it requires you to release this past trauma. And when we say release, okay, like I'm not saying like, oh, just somehow magically put it down, right? It's always going to be a part of us. It's always going to be something that we have experienced in this life. When I say release, we're talking about dealing with the emotions that are connected to what happened to you. And dealing with those emotions means sitting with those emotions and validating that you feel the way that you feel. And when the tears stop falling, or when you can stop screaming into the pillow, or when you can stop feeling so mad, you know that you've overcome a barrier that was once blocking you from before. Innovation. Constant innovation means not being satisfied with the status quo and being willing to try new methods and ideas. Whether at work or in life, innovation can bring new opportunities and surprises. It can make you stand out from the competition, make your life more convenient and interesting. Okay? So you're meant to innovate something beautiful in this life. Let's get a shadow aspect. Shadow aspect for this reading, for pile 1. Okay, you're going to get that one and that one. Ending. You're pretending that it's not ending, but it's time to let go and make a fresh start. See, here's the thing. I feel like consciously you don't want to hold on to it. You're like, I don't want to hold on to this. I don't want to be in this energy. But emotionally, your ego's like, oh, no. We can't let this go. This is who I am. And if we let this go, then who will I be without this? And that's the beauty of it. 1818, meant for success. Exactly. Success, purpose, change, prosperity, life, path, and transformation. A major change is coming, and while it may feel disruptive, it's guiding you towards success. Embrace this shift, as it will lead you to your purpose and financial prosperity. Soon, the reasons for this change will become clear, revealing your true path. So there's a big change that's coming in. Let's get a Cosmic Energy Oracle for pile number 1. Okay, thank you. Divinity. Every moment is filled with divinity. Cherish it, right? Even though there's cycles in life, it doesn't mean that you can't transform. This is a moth, and a moth is transforming by the shadow, right? Look, it's being carried by butterfly wings, which is transformed by light. But here we have the moth, which is our darkness, is what will transform us the most. And so it's interesting showing these cycles at play here, but you have this opportunity to let go of the cycle and start a new pathway. Okay, we have expand your spirit, make your spiritual world richer, read more, think more, and be exposed to new things. Your spirit will continue to grow and see a wider world, right? Connecting with source energy is very important for you at this time. And your soul, your inner shaman wants you to connect with your soul. We've got Pluto transform. Yeah, transforming the shadow. That's a huge message for you at this time. It's time to play. Weren't we talking about that with the dice? You're working too hard and worrying about everything. Seek out joyous experiences to bring balance into your life. Remembering that it's okay for you to have fun. It doesn't mean that you have to be so serious all the time. Like, healing doesn't have to be this very serious thing. Like, sometimes, you know, I've cried. I've laughed hysterically. I have fallen over. I have had no energy. I've had it all. I've experienced every emotion during healing, and reminding myself that, like, that is just a part of it. It doesn't have to be so serious, but if we show up consistently, we'll let go of those things, and then reminding yourself to do things that you love. Look, we have cardinal energy. The polarities of your spiritual pursuits and physical pleasures are out of balance, so do whatever is necessary to bring them back into equilibrium. Yeah, out of alignment. It's okay, though. That's not to scare you. That's just a reminder, like, we ebb and flow. We'll go in and out of alignment all the time. Pioneers, pushing boundaries, leading the way to discover new solutions. Think outside the box so you can move through the portal. Abundance. You're being asked to open to abundance, to believe that you're deserving of it, and to believe that it will flow to you. This is the first important step toward receiving it. Breathe deeply and trust that it's on its way. It doesn't mean it's going to happen tomorrow or next week or even next year, but if you believe that it's coming, it will come to you. Teasing. Dangling partial truths, needing answers. I can't with this. Shifting. The main thing coming in here is needing answers. And I was talking about that earlier. It feels like no matter what answer I give to you as to why this terrible thing happened in your past, it's not good enough, right? You're always going to need something more. And so instead of looking for the answer to that, instead find an internal truth that's going to help set you free. Look, drowning. You are going under and barely keeping things afloat. Ask for help. Yeah, these energies are not surprising to come out here. Look, with your reading, 6464, intuition, inner knowing, trust, awareness, mindfulness, reflection, clarity. Cultivate mindfulness daily to strengthen your intuition. Spend time in quiet reflection, focusing on your breath, and let your mind settle into the stillness. What is my intuition telling me about the current situation? How can I better listen to my inner voice? Dedicate a few minutes each day to mindfulness or meditation, allowing your inner voice to guide you without distraction. Trust the feelings and insights that arise. This is a part of your path of purpose. When we were talking about that, this is all about you learning to trust yourself, trust your intuition. When you trust your intuition, then your guides will start showing and introducing themselves to you. It's not that they're not there, right? But if you can't trust your intuition and all of a sudden a guide pops up and is like, hey, I'm Bob, I'm your spiritual guide, and you're going to be like, who the heck are you? Like, I'm obviously hearing voices. I need to go get some medicine or something, right? Like, that's why they're saying you got to trust your intuition first, okay? Rebirth. Every end is a new beginning. You're rising from the ashes like a phoenix. I love this card for you. Oh, I love this card. Let's check out your card here. I'm going to read this from the book. We've got sugar. Look at this. Oh, this is powerful. 31. It's interesting because it's like reconnecting with the cosmos is what I was getting when I first turned this over. And finding your Milky Way, right? Like where your pleasures lie at. Where your infinite self resides. It's like feeling disconnected from that internal well-being, that internal spring. Okay. 31. Sugar. And also, let's think about that. Sugar is sweet, right? And it's like the sweet things in life. Having fun again. Enjoying the sweet things. It says, one of sugar's physical attributes is stickiness. See how this concept affects the cards within the reading and the personalities involved. Attachment rarely serves. What were we talking about? Being so attached to resentment and anger and fear and all those things is keeping you from manifesting what you want. That stickiness, right? It's hard to get off. It says, pleasure is healing in and of itself. What is the simplest, most feasible means of joy you can participate in today, right? You're working too hard. It's time to play. Time to bring joy and play in, right? It does not have to be big and boisterous. Joy is everywhere. It says sacred sweetness, pleasure, and attraction. Oh, how sugar dances on the tongue. No matter how intellectual and scholarly our pursuits, sugar reminds us of our longing for simple pleasures. Until the 12th century, our need for sweetness, it is, after all, one of the 5 essential tastes in Ayurveda, was fulfilled by raw honey offered by the bees. This material had many medicinal properties and was known in alchemy as a sacred elixir. Now, most of our sources of sweetness, both literally and metaphorically, are highly processed, defined for us by a culture of consumption. This card is a call to explore the simple sweetness in life. Can you add tenderness to your alchemical experiment? How about joy or even laughter? Wasn't I saying that at the beginning? Like, it feels like for you, pile 1, like laughter's been it's been hard for you to laugh again. Right? Oh my gosh, this is so synchronistic. It is likely that the pleasures you crave will not be found from manufactured means, but from the childlike wonder residing in the heart. Remember the The alchemical wisdom of like attracts like. To go deeper, listen to Nina Simone performing the song A Little Sugar in My Bowl, and to ponder the power of attraction and aversion. Wow. Finding structure and strength in play again. And this is going to help you be reborn. It's going to help you also heal this very difficult wound that's been persistent. And I just heard petulant in your journey. Okay? I know this isn't easy. And you've been through a lot. And here's a big, big, big energetic hug, pile 1. You're doing an amazing job. No one's here scolding you or anything like that. Your inner shaman is just trying to help you get to the next level on your journey. Okay? And sometimes we have to go through some really difficult things to get there. But you're doing a good job. And remember to trust yourself. Okay? So if you feel like this is your reading, leave a little ball emoji down below, a soccer ball, baseball, basketball, or something like that, and say, I choose to bring play, fun, and pleasure back into my life, knowing that that is what helps me to release the burdens of my past and to manifest what I desire. And if it resonated with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box in order to do so, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member of the channel. With that being said, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming together to give us this incredibly powerful message. And until next time, pile number 1, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow humans. If you were drawn to this beautiful moonstone, or if you were drawn to this dice, or this card during the shuffle, then this is going to be a reading, a message from your inner shaman. First, I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. Truly honored to be sharing this time and this space with you. And for those of you that are new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. Should these messages happen to resonate with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. With that being said, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what is the message from pile number 2's inner shaman source. Would you like to ring through? What is the message from pile number 2's inner shaman? What do they need to hear at this time? This is a message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Okay, so we've got the 11th house, Pluto, and Libra. It's interesting because I was getting a channel message. I'm glad the 11th house came up again, because the thing is I was getting a message at the beginning before I started your reading that there's going to be some massive shift to the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And it's interesting because this feels like exactly what the dice are saying as well. It was just a message that kept coming through, and sometimes I remember channel messages, and then sometimes I don't remember them until I get into the reading, and I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that came through. But it feels like really what your inner shaman is reminding you about is that there's going to be a huge shift in regards to the people that you're surrounding yourself with. Like, so maybe there's been a lot of people in your energy that have been very low vibrational, or that have been very manipulative, or that have just not been at the same type of journey that you're doing, right? And so there's a lot of dissonance there when someone's like not healing and you're healing, and you're vibing up and they're still vibing the same, and they vibe out or you vibe out, but for whatever reason you're still hanging out. And so it causes a lot of discrepancies. And so what this feels like is that source is saying, like, you're coming into a time in your life, and your inner shaman is saying you're coming into a time in your life where you're going to be surrounded by people who have and share a similar vision as yours, whatever that is, right? Whatever it is that you feel you're drawn to, whatever it feels like you really love and that you really, want to see happen in the world, you're going to be sharing that same vision with people who feel that same way or feel very similar to the way that you feel. Feels like you've had a lot of very superficial friends in your life, very superficial connections in your life, and that's something that's shifting as well. You're going to start having these deeper interpersonal connections with people that are going to be very intimate. You're going to be getting to know them. They're going to be going out of their way to get to know you. And at first, this may feel like a very uncomfortable change. This may feel like a very uncomfortable shift in your journey because it's new and it's different, but it is going to be something that you're going to be very pleased with overall. As things shift and as things change, you're going to be really happy that it is changing. This is also you purging out subconscious connections, like, right, those subconscious beliefs and those toxic patterns that we're continuing to attract those people into your life. You're purging that. Like, that's coming out. You're consciously facing it, and you're recognizing, like, oh, that's someone that I probably would have tried to be friends with in the past, but I see that we don't vibe like that anymore, so I'm just not interested like that anymore. Even could have to do with people that you date or people that you're interested in romantically, like where at one point in time you're like, wow, I would have really, really died to have that person in my life. It would have been so awesome. Like, I would have had this big crush on them, and yeah, maybe they're really good looking, but like now that I see them in action, I'm just like, oh, I don't vibe like that. Like, that's not going to be a good fit for me. No, not today. It's not going to work. Sorry. Go ahead, move on. Right? Like, and it's not in a bad way. It's just you're recognizing now, like, where you're at on your journey, you're seeing the change, right? And maybe for a long time you've been wondering, is this ever going to change? But your inner shaman is like, yeah, it is. And you're going to see the change. And I feel like this is what's shifting in your life currently. Let's get a little bit more in this and see if your inner shaman brings out what's going on. Pile 1 was a very deep, deep, deep reading. And if you're here from pile 1, thank you for following me over. But, yeah, this feels like a lot different energy from pile number 1. So I'm kind of glad for that. Yeah, it feels like something, look, I split the deck. We've got, and the page of, the Knight of Wands. Okay, let's look at this for just a second. You've had situations that have fallen apart, including love relationships, including things that you thought were going to last for forever. But the truth is that you are moving on. Like, you're moving away, you're moving on and up, and you become very emotionally secure within yourself. You've gained a lot of wisdom from dealing with these. I mean, some were immature. Some people are just not on your same emotional level, or maybe you were at one point in time in your life, but now you're just not there anymore, right? It's not to make everyone in your life seem like a terrible person. They were just making their own decisions with what they had at the time. The same that we are, right? And so it's like understanding that now it's okay for me to move on from this. Like, I don't have to stay attached to this internally. I can choose myself, and I can choose to move on. Finding the strength to let go of wanting to prove people right or wrong, or wanting to prove yourself even in a situation. So what is the message from pile number 2's inner shaman? Yeah, no longer afraid to start over too is a message coming in here. Letting go of the burden. It's a message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Thank you. This is a message from pile number 2's inner shaman. This is a message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Yeah. It's interesting because it could have been sexual relationships, maybe not having anything that was super serious, or you wanting something that was super serious and they didn't want something super serious. And you're like, that's just not going to vibe with me at all. What is the message from pile number 2's inner shaman? Yeah, not seeing things clearly. Okay. What is the message from pile number 2's inner shaman? Whoa, okay, thank you. All right. Let's see what's on the bottom of the deck here. We've got the King of Wands. Look at that. Going from this Page of Wands in the reverse straight to the King of Wands in the upright. Like, knowing that you had to make a choice for yourself so that you could feel confident in your skin, feel confident with who you were. You know, it's interesting because I am getting a message here, and this is a very specific message, so this isn't going to resonate with everyone, but I do have to talk about it because there's a message here where it's like maybe at one point you really wanted a sexual partner in your life, or a significant other, or like a love relationship. And what happened is like you weren't seeing that clearly, and we're probably just inviting people in. And it's not like you were just trying to invite any willy-nilly in or whatever. No pun intended. But it's like this energy of, you know, like just inviting people in because I want this title or want this status, and then getting hurt in the process. And then suddenly there's this shift in consciousness, or this shift in perspective where you're like, holy moly, like these people just are really, really not going to be okay for me to spend long term with. And making a choice maybe to be single, like for now or for the time being or for the foreseeable future. And that's making you feel a lot more centered and confident in who you are. Again, that's a very specific message that's coming through here. But regardless of what this is, it's like you're no longer entertaining this immature energy, right? You're no longer... Did I say I didn't want to say they were immature? I'm pretty sure I said that. And then Source is like, well, if you won't say it, I will. What? That's so funny. Anyways, yeah, this immature energy, this very low vibrational energy. They're people who just see other people as objects. And objects for their emotional, physical satisfaction, right? And even at times mental satisfaction. And it feels like you're letting that go. It's like recognizing like these people want something from me and something I'm not willing to give to them. And it's not because you won't give it to them, you know, if they came to your level. It's just that I'm just not going to give this person what they want, and them continue to treat me like I'm dirt or like I don't matter. And so there's definitely this shift here. Where before it was like feeling very uncomfortable being you, or very uncomfortable wanting to see this a different way. And now you're just like, nope, seeing it a different way is the only way that I'm going to get out of here. Yeah, feeling impulsive. So you could have been a people pleaser in your past. And you could have been the person that everybody like not, okay, when I say hook up here, I'm not talking about sexually, okay? I'm saying like hooked up with because you were always down to go out with them, or you were always down to hang out, or you were always down to party, and like you could have been the person that like everybody called because they knew they were awake at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Isn't, or 3 o'clock in the morning? Isn't there a song, a Pink song that says that? Like, you called my phone because you know I'm the only one that's home at 3 in the morning. I think there's a Pink song that says that. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's like, please don't leave me. It could be. It might not be, though. I think it's on that same album, though. The one that's, she has it, Please Don't Leave Me. It's a much older album. It came out in the 2000s. But yeah, there's a song in there is like where she says that you call me because I'm the only one that's home at 3 o'clock in the morning. And so it's interesting that that's coming in, but that's what it feels like here. It's like people were always reaching out to you, not because they actually cared about hanging out with you, but it's like when they didn't have someone to hang out with, like you were always the last resort that they knew would say yes. That's what this feels like. And that's why I feel like there's this huge shift in your friends and your friends' friendship circle and who you're surrounding yourself with. In fact, you could have been very much in a state of solitude for an extended period of time, right? Especially with this connection of cards here. It's like I had to go and really understand why I was hanging out with the people I was hanging out with, or why these people were coming into my life. And so taking a period of solitude was something that really helped you see well, I always said yes, or I never could say no, or I didn't know how to set boundaries, or I didn't know how to just be in my power. Rather, I was in this very impulsive state where it was like, oh, if someone called me, even if I was sick or even if I didn't feel like it, I would still go and hang out with them. And thinking back, you might be like, why did I ever do that? Like, what ever possessed me to be that way? And it's almost like, it's interesting because pile one had the mother wound, and I feel like you also are dealing with the mother wound with nurturing. Not knowing how to nurture yourself, and part of nurturing ourselves is setting those solid boundaries, you know, especially when we don't feel good, or when we don't feel up to it, or when we don't have the energy to do something. That is definitely an act of self-care, and we learn self-care from our mothers. But if our mothers never had self-care in their lives, or the feminine energy in our lives growing up, we learn that from them. But if they were never caring, or if they never took care of themselves, or said no, even to the family, like, I have to say no to the family tonight so that I can go and take a bath, or so that I can go and watch my favorite show, or so that I can have some downtime to myself. Like, if we never saw that happen, we were never going to do that either. We were going to start showing up for people the way that the feminine in our lives, or the mother figure in our lives, showed up. And that oftentimes is people pleasing, always putting themselves on the back burner, taking care of everybody else's needs first. And that's exactly what this feels like here. It's like you had a mother who maybe was overprotective of you, but still always put your needs, or put everyone else's needs first. And I already feel the resistance. Well, but they never loved me the way I needed to be loved. Now remember, putting your needs first is not necessarily about getting love, right? This could be like, I'm overprotective of you, and I want to save you from the world because I know how difficult the world is, but I also don't have the capacity to give you the love and care that you need. So it just ends up being a very dysfunctional relationship. Even if you love your mom, you know, and even if you have like a difficult time with the feminine in your life that was the protector in your life, or the caregiver in your life, whoever they were. Could be a man, it could be a woman, it could just be anybody, right? Anybody that you like into that position. But there's this energy that's coming in where it's like, now you're shifting from that belief and saying like, it's okay for me to take care of myself. It's okay for me to put myself first. In fact, it's okay to even just sit and stare at people when they're trying to tell you all this stuff and get you excited as they are, and just let them continue on their story. And not get so involved in it like maybe you would have in the past. Like maybe you would have tried to fix that for them, or take control of that for them, or step up for them, rather than letting them figure it out on their own. It's like the monkey and the fish. That's the story they're showing me right now. And if you don't know the story of the monkey and the fish, it's not long. It's like a monkey goes down and sees that a fish is drowning. And the monkey says, I'll solve the fish's problem by bringing it up into the tree with me. And now the fish dies because the fish can't breathe out of water, obviously. And the monkey doesn't understand what happened because the monkey did the best that it could to fix the problem for the fish. But really, the only thing that the monkey could have done in that situation that would have been useful is to sit with the fish in the water, in their element. And I feel like you're learning that, and that's been a process, and your inner shaman is helping you to let go of people who are immature, people who aren't comfortable around you, people who are impulsive and want you to become impulsive in their energy. But I do feel like at one point, maybe these were also actions and emotions that you two exhibited when you were younger because you didn't know any better, right? It's not like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you were so immature. I can't believe, we all went through that. We all, as humans, go through that period in our lives where we're trying to figure it out. And we don't even know how to parent ourselves, or we learned from parents who weren't good role models for us. And so that's what this feels like, is letting that go. And coming up into a period of time where you're actually around people who are able to see you and value you, but you also see and value them for who they are. But this does feel like you've been through a period of self-isolation. And part of that was feeling like the victim and also denying your own qualities, but at times trying to be normal to fit in. And so I feel like you're letting that go, letting go of that societal construct of like, I have to fit in, and recognizing that it's okay to be comfortable in your skin. Like, I keep coming back to that energy, but that's what it feels like, is just being comfortable with who you are, being comfortable with how you believe in things, being comfortable with how you look, being comfortable with how you think. Like, all these things are shifting for you. And you're the one that had to do that for yourself with the King of Wands here, and then with the House of God underneath that. Right? You have this energy of everything had to fall apart so that it can fall into place. And now that you've been knocked off your rocker by the House of God, or what you might know as the Tower moment, this realization coming in, it's like you're finally starting to see things balance back out. Let's get some clarifiers out here. Can you please clarify this? Whoa, okay. Jeez. Okay, so this one's coming out. This one came out. And this one came out. I want it that way. Okay. On the bottom of the deck. Yeah, we've got the Fool in the reverse. Feeling tricked by people. What do we got? The Ace of Wands. Self-sabotage again. And the Queen of Cups. Yeah. Not wanting to connect with others. Not wanting to be emotionally available for each other. Because of betrayal in your life. And so your inner shaman is helping you to face these parts of yourself so that you can come back into this place of being confident. It's knowing, using your discernment. It's not to be rude to cut people off, but it's just like discerning, like, is this person for me or are they not? Like, are they trying to gain something from me? Are they trying to get information from me? Are they trying to get something that I have to offer? Or are they coming correct and wanting to get to know me because they actually want to get to know me? Yeah, the Nine of Cups in the reverse. Look at that. Injustice in reverse over the Empress in reverse. Look at these. Let's just look at these two similar figures, right? Two different cards, two different energies, but I can't help but notice the similarities in the images right now. They're both taking up this whole card. They're both holding something in both hands. They're completely busy. They're completely overtaken by their mind, the mental state that's going on here. And Justice card in the reverse talks about bigotry. It talks about judging others based on things we ourselves do. That's why it might be hard for you to heal this part of yourself, because it's hard to like really honor that, like, wow, I was like that too. That's kind of that ugly energy that we don't want to see in ourselves. Like, we don't want to acknowledge that, but unless we take the time out to say like, wow, you know, like I was judging that person for something that I was doing too in my past or that I've done before, you know, and coming to terms with that we acted that way, it will always burden us. And that's why I feel like it's interesting, because it's like without wanting to, in some way, shape, or form, even though you showed up differently, you still showed up at one point in your life in the same energy as this feminine that was in your life, this mother, this grandmother, this auntie, this, it could be even a man, it could be a father. Maybe you were, had a single dad, or you had, you know, two dads, or, you know, whatever the situation is. It could have been a Taurus or a Libra. Interesting, but it could have been a Taurus or a Libra that was showing up in this way. It doesn't have to be, but that same energy is coming in, right? And not seeing the balance, or not recognizing that, wow, I showed up like them, even if it was in a different way, right? And always feeling like you're going backwards. And so your inner shaman is saying, like, you're not going backwards. This is just the illusion that you're going backwards, especially with the Nine of Cups here in the reverse. And this is just believing in that illusion, that that's the only thing that exists, right? Is the hardships in life, or feeling like I have to be a victim of life, or feeling like life is always against me. This is a choice that you make based on the mindset that you have. And so your inner shaman is helping you to release this, and wants you to feel free to release this so that you can let things fall apart. Right? In the house of God, this is God's hand. It's the feather, right? It's the feather, the plumage, if you will. But it's indicating that spirit is coming down and knocking the crown off of our heads. And we've been standing up in the tallest tower, in the highest wing, with our ego self, and saying like, oh, I'm the king of the tower. I'm the queen of the tower. I'm the royalty of the tower. And, you know, thinking that we've got it all set because our ego convinces us that we do. But then the spirit comes down and knocks us clean out of the top of the tower, and we fall all the way down. And our emotional ego gets washed away in the river. And we get humbled, because now if we want to go back up, we actually have to take the climb, and we have to show ourselves why it's worth us making this climb back up to the top. And so it's interesting, but I feel like that's exactly where you're at right now. It's like having to face that part of yourself, that really dark part of yourself that was like, nope, I didn't want to face that. But it's also denying that maybe you acted the same way too as this person in your life. You know, it's like, I never acted like them. But then when you start to break it down and you see some of the things that you did, or some of the ways that you showed up, you're like, oh, like without wanting to, I was actually reliving those same patterns, right? It's not like we do it by choice. We do it because of conditioning. So there's no like blame here. There's no like, oh my gosh, pile two, like you said, you weren't going to live like that. How dare you? Like that doesn't exist. But our minds convince us that it does. Like, oh my gosh, someone's, you know, they're scolding me, or I should scold myself because I promised myself I wasn't going to be that way. But it's, you could promise yourself until the moon comes home, and you know, it's your conditioning that's taking over. Oh, I needed a drink. So we have conditioning at play here, and your inner shaman is saying, like, we're letting this go, and we're helping you transform this so that you can be surrounded by people that you actually want to be surrounded by. Like, but it is taking you showing up as well, right? It is taking you showing up and putting in the work, and knowing that here with the King of Wands, he's like his own worst enemy, right? If you see here, he's got this wand, but at the end of this wand is this like bayonet, basically, right? The sword on the end of the bayonet, but it's this like sword that's at the end of this wand, and he's pointing it right at the Achilles heel. And the Achilles heel is like one of the weakest parts on our body. That's why it's called the Achilles heel. It's named after Achilles, like the most powerful warrior in the world. And then he got taken out by this injury on his heel, right? It's so small, but it's fatal. It basically takes away all our strength. And here it's showing him like he's realizing that like I have the power to heal myself, but I also have the power to be my own worst enemy and to knock myself off my path. And so it's taking a lot of courage for you to really face this part of yourself, but your inner shaman is helping you with that, helping you let go of the burdens of holding on to everyone and everything that you've been through. And it's not been easy, and that's okay, right? There's no like, there's a formula for healing, but there's no formula for how it should look for everyone, because everyone's going to be different, right? And that's okay. We got Sagittarius energy, optimism, exploration, and freedom. We're trying to bring in a sense of freedom here. Bring you back to this optimistic time in your life. To have fun. To explore, to experience new things, to find balance. Don't settle for less. I love that this came out for you. You are a child of the divine, and you deserve to have your dreams come true. Don't give up. So you might be starting to believe that like you can't manifest the things that you desire, but your inner shaman is saying like, no, that's not true at all. Like Archangel Michael is here to tell you too, like, I have this for you. It's waiting for you. You can't settle for less, though. The more that you work towards your goals, the closer you'll get to that. And even if it takes a whole lifetime, are you willing to manifest what you want? Like, it's a question you have to ask yourself. It's like, are you willing to lay your whole life down on the line to achieve your goal of whatever your desire is? Because if you're not, then maybe it's not the desire that you're meant to have. Right? Because usually when we have a desire that's our heart speaking to us, it's like we would give up everything to do that. It doesn't mean that we're brave enough to go towards it yet, or that we struggle, you know, that we don't struggle going towards it. It just means that like, that's what I want more than anything in the world. And like, if I know it's going to take me the whole life, my whole life to get there, is it worth me still chasing it? And that should still be a resounding yes. But if you're saying, no, it's not, like, maybe that's not what you're supposed to be doing, and you should reassess where you're at. Look, now Archangel Michael coming to you with 44, you will manifest what you need. Express gratitude as if your plans have already come to pass. Trust that your angels are bringing you the assistance that you need. Exactly. And that's the other thing too, like our dreams, we often get inspirations about them all the time. Like we won't even be thinking about it, and all of a sudden like if you want to be, I don't know, a musician, right? And you work in a boring accounting job somewhere, and you're like, oh, this is like selling my soul and I hate it. I can't stand it, but I don't want to be a musician because I'm scared, I'm scared to chase it. But then you're at work and you're doing accounting, and all of a sudden you have this great song idea come in, and you're like, that's exactly what it is when we have a dream. Like it never leaves us alone, but it also won't chase itself. We have to chase it. Thor's red, black, and gold dragon protects you in times of change. A time of rapid transition and transformation. Relax, you are safe. I love that. Are you getting like all these warriors coming through Achilles' heel? With Achilles, he's a warrior. Thor is a warrior. He's the god of thunder. We have Venus and Diom Chanen coming through with the beauty of love lies in its wildness. Be daring and embark upon journeys with your dragon. Don't be afraid to go out there and be seen. Connect with your imagination. Connect with your guides. Connect with your inner shaman, your higher self. They're going to lead you, but it's going to ask you to be vulnerable. Right? She's not wearing any clothing. Why? Because she's showing up vulnerable. She's showing up naked in the face of adversity and saying like, I'm still my vulnerable self. I'm going to put myself on the line because what I desire is worth that. Merlin and Liliana on the bottom, love yourself just as you are. You are amazing. And by opening yourself up to all of your different lives, you will become the sum of them. Balancing out your chakras is also something coming through here. Oh, confirmation. Okay. Wow. Let's see what else comes through for you here. Meerkat. Get support from trusted group of like-minded friends. Oh, I love this. This is exactly what I feel like is shifting for you with these dice. It's like you're going to have like-minded friends on your journey now. People who get you, right? People who support you. You're going to have that support, and I feel like you're going to be even more willing to go towards what you want to go towards. We have Wolverine. Exactly. You are a lot tougher than you think you are. That's why we keep getting these warrior images out. It's like you really are a warrior, but I feel like sometimes you just want to throw in the towel. It's like, I'm just done. But you're not recognizing or you're not celebrating just how far you've come. Right? And so it never hurts to take time to celebrate how far we've come and to think about that too. Right? So you've overcome this type of belief or this pattern. That's something we're celebrating. Like, that's a hard thing to come through, but you did it. We have serpent's whisper. Beware the silver-tongued serpents, for their sweetest words may carry venom. Listen, but trust cautiously. And I also feel like this is saying, like, for yourself as well. You know, being kind to yourself. Sometimes we can be so mean to ourselves and we think we're lifting ourselves up, but we're actually being mean to ourselves because the ego is a very clever entity, if you will. And I also feel like what you've dealt with from the past, right? Like exactly what I was saying. Like you said, I'm never going to be this person. I'm never going to show up like that. And then to recognize that you have, but then also blaming yourself, right? It's not about blaming yourself here. It's not about hurting yourself. And making sure that you're listening to people from the past. Like, are they really for me? Or has this person shown me their true colors? Elder of Truth. You'll encounter a truth teller who will challenge your beliefs but open new doors. Question deeply and accept the truth. Remember, an elephant never forgets. So it's not about forgetting what you've been through. It's about remembering everything that you've been through with the purpose of learning the lessons from all of that so that you can move on and let go. We've learned, look, listen, the Elder of Truth. Oh, question deeply and accept the truth. You'll be challenged. Okay. Right? And then we have learned to listen. So it says listening is a sign of respect for others. Listening without interrupting and attentively makes the other person feel valued. By listening, you can understand the thoughts and needs of others and gain more knowledge and insight. So I feel like someone's going to come in and guide you along your journey and help you see truths about yourself that maybe you weren't yet ready to accept on your own, but they're going to give you some sort of key that's going to help you really access a deeper part of yourself. And your inner shaman is ready to help you release that. So if you're seeing snakes a lot, or if you're seeing elephants a lot, or even meerkats and wolverines, like this is especially true for you. We have continuous learning. Learning is a lifelong endeavor. Isn't that funny? Because I was saying that, like, if it takes you a lifetime to do what you want to do, are you willing to lay your life on the line for that? It's not about giving it up in death. That's not what it is. It's about really just saying, like, my dream is so worth it to me that I don't care how long it takes to realize it. I'm going to always work towards it. Stay curious and constantly learning new knowledge and skills will keep you improving, adapt to a changing world, and improve your competitiveness. So always learning whatever you can about the things that matter to you. What's a shadow aspect for this reading, source? Message from pile number 2's inner shaman, the shadow aspect at play. Thank you. On the bottom, vicious circle, pattern of relationship issues, bad habits, a no-win situation. It's what we've been talking about this whole time. It's just this vicious cycle, right? Exactly what I said. This energy here, I don't want to be that person. I'm not ever going to show up like them. But again, I couldn't get past the images and how similar they looked. And I've never said that about these two cards before because they have two different energies. But right now, the energy is different. And it's showing like, yeah, we're showing up differently, right? We're showing up differently, but we're still showing up in a similar pattern. And so that's the vicious cycle that's been at play, right? And so letting that go. All right, what's the angel number for pile number 2? Message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Message from pile number 2's inner shaman. Thank you. 2020 on the bottom, strength. This is all about connecting with your inner warrior, resilience, courage, inner power, determination, fortitude, and endurance. Draw on your inner strength during challenging times. Your resilience can lead to personal growth. Stay focused and remain open-minded as you navigate each step of your journey. So about how strong you are right now. Remember, it's like you've been through a lot. And while that's sometimes difficult to accept, you're doing a good job, right? So we're going to get a cosmic energy card here. On the bottom, we've got acceptance. Accept others and yourself. Welcome new opportunities. So I was saying like a key here. Someone's giving you a key to open a door, to open an opportunity. Could be this person coming in. This could be a teacher. This could be a truth teller. This could be someone who's been through the same stuff that you've been through, or very similar things that you've been through and has healed it. But there's like some sort of mentor that's coming in and helping you on your journey, and they're going to give you a key to your journey. All right, so we've got air energy, like open-mindedness, objectivity, and learning. Learn to listen, continuous learning. So there's something about learning for you that's very important at this time. Whatever it is that you want to learn, keep learning it, because it's going to help you let go of the past and focus on yourself. And it's going to give you new neural pathways for you to fill with positive experiences that are going to help you overcome challenges that come up, so you no longer show up in that old pattern. Like house 4, cultural and family roots, home, peace, and comfort. So these patterns came from home. Okay. Also, I did say at one point this could be the mother wound, and we have this confirmation with the 4th house. Okay. Black dragon cocoons you so that your divine potential grows. Meditate, reflect, and undergo a metamorphosis. Okay, so you're at a time in your life where you're actually changing and shifting so much, and that's why you're shifting and coming into a place of like-minded friends. Furry charm. Their innocent spirits shield you from misfortune. Draw them near. Luck clings to their fur. You could be finding solace with your animals right now, and they don't have to be furry. They could be reptiles, right? They could be snakes. They could be lizards. They could be turtles. They could be birds. They could be anything. But remembering that right now your animals are helping you in this period of being cocooned. Look, an elephant again. Look, elephants twice in your reading. Praise others. Praise is power. Finding the good in others and praising them sincerely can make them feel happy and confident. And at the same time, it will make your own relationships more harmonious. So I feel like you're going to be seeing this, and whoever this mentor is, they're going to come in and they're going to be like, wow, you're doing a really good job. Like, you've come a long way, you know, like you've really grown a lot. Like, you need to celebrate yourself. You need to do these good things for yourself. Like, don't beat yourself up anymore, because you don't deserve to go through that. And so it's like, don't forget what you've done, but remember that it's okay for you to celebrate how far you've come as well. So this is a very powerful time for you, and your inner shaman is helping you to let go. And I feel like your inner shaman with the elephant here, if you've done any journeying, it wouldn't surprise me if you've actually met an elephant as one of your guides coming through. And so it feels like the elephant is like clearing away these obstacles. I think Ganesh is connected with elephants as well, and that's the destroyer of obstacles, right? So we've got negativity, like a dark cloud above you, are depressed, extreme moods. Whoa, my ear just tripped out right now. Woo, okay. Yeah, I feel like you've been dealing with a lot of depression, or you have had a lot of depression in the past, and it's been really hard for you to overcome. And part of that's just because of these patterns that are playing over. Like, that's why the patterns exist, is because of those generational curses of depression and feeling overwhelmed, feeling stuck. And you're going to overcome that. The other one is escape. Look, and especially with negativity, love is an emotional escape for you. Be sure you're getting involved for the right reasons. And that's what I was saying, like with the Page of Wands in the reverse. Maybe you were just trying to fulfill that title in your life and getting involved with the wrong people. And it didn't have to be just love. It could have been friendships. It could have been connections, just business partnerships, whatever it was. But I feel like it was all for the wrong reason before, because you're playing out generational patterns. And letting that go, like your inner shaman is trying to help you overcome a period of negativity in your life that's been clinging to you, and helping you to come into this place where it's like, don't forget your own actions, but don't forget what was done unto you either. Use that as a stepping stone for you to climb up into a higher vibration. Angel number 5, transformation, goes with Pluto energy. Change, acceptance, growth, abundance, alignment, potential, soul's calling. Change is happening, and your task is to accept it. This transformation will bring you fortune and abundance, aligning you with your true soul's calling. You are realizing your potential. How can I fully embrace the changes happening in my life and trust that they are guiding me towards my true potential? Today, embrace a change in your life, big or small, and take a step towards aligning with your soul's true calling. Yeah, so this is all playing out exactly as it should, okay? Like, you've not done anything wrong. You're not behind times. Like, you haven't missed a step along the way or anything like that. You're exactly where you need to be at exactly the right time, okay? So your cosmic energy is compassion. Embrace others' differences. Accept your own imperfections. And that's what we've been talking about this whole time. So your inner shaman has been talking about that, really accepting that the inner differences, your imperfections, right? Like really honing that practice of total radical self-acceptance in all things that we've done in our lives. And sometimes that's good, sometimes it's not so good, and it's kind of ugly, and we don't want to own that part of ourselves, but it's so important for us to own that part of ourselves. Okay, let's take a look at your card here. I'm going to read this from the book. We've got 10. Look, is that Jupiter? Yeah, Jupiter. Look at this, like, being reflected. What's being reflected to you? It's like when the light goes through the prism, it comes out as the rainbow, right? And it was so funny. Something just fell over there, and I have no idea what it was. Made some noise, but it's like you're being reflected back to yourself. But learning that even the bad parts of yourself, or what you deem as bad, are also beautiful in their own right, because they've given you some sort of lesson, or they've taught you something of value, and they've taught you how to be courageous, you know, and knowing that there's no reason to shut out the light, because if I don't shine the light through the prism, through what's reflected to me, I'll never be able to see in the dark. So let's see what 10 says here. Number 21. 1221 is a powerful number for you as well. I feel like you might see that a lot. Yeah. Okay. So 10 says, in esoteric wisdom traditions, Jupiter and 10 are associated with the liver. It's possible the liver may have a wise message to reveal, perhaps about excess and balance. It says, be like 10 today. If a good cry or wail feels need to be heard, let it happen. It'll release the pressure in the laboratory, and you'll have a whole new perspective. So 10 is malleable, expansive, and connected with Jupiter. 10 is a silvery white, highly malleable metal. This is in part because 10 structure is composed of crystals in cubic or tetragonal formations that can be broken or crushed under moderate pressure. When the crystalline structure breaks, a sound known as the 10 cry can be heard. Hence the unnerving sound of crinkling tinfoil. Such is the energy of the 10 card. On one hand, it is in 10's Jupiterian nature to expand, to mobilize, to cover the whole territory. On the other hand, the metal cannot withstand much weight or pressure. When this card appears, you may have reached a limit or a breaking point after taking on more than is logistically possible under the circumstances. Don't take this juncture personally. More strength is required before taking next steps to support the expansion you see in your mind's eye. To look at, or to go deeper, look at Andy Warhol's 1966 installation Silver Clouds, and to ponder reflection as illumination. That's what I was saying. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that confirmation. Thank you so much, Source. So this is all about really facing the parts of yourself that you don't want to see, which whenever we do shamanistic work, that's really a huge part of it. But this has been really clear about the role that you've played in the connections in your life, and what it is that maybe you didn't want to honor for yourself, or honor the parts that you played in your life, and we're trying to push that onto others. It's like really recognizing that within ourselves, which can be very difficult, and understanding there's no time frame here. It's not like you have to get this done by tomorrow. It's just your inner shaman is coming up and saying, let's look at this and let's heal this together, because your higher self is here to help you through this, okay? So I know this wasn't an easy message, but it was incredibly powerful, and there is this transformation on the horizon for you. So if you felt like this was your message, leave the little mirror emoji down below and say, by looking in the reflection and truly seeing what lies beyond the veil of my eyes, I can release what has hindered me from the past and set myself free for a new rebirth. And if this message resonated with you, it means so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything you need in the description box below. Yeah, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member on the channel. I totally lost my thought. So we're going to leave it there. I'm giving you a big, big, big energetic hug, Pile 2. You're doing an amazing job. I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming through to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, Pile number 2, stay human. Bye. Hello, my fellow human. If you were drawn to this beautiful piece of lapis lazuli, or if you were drawn to this dice with the moon on it, or this card during the shuffle, this is going to be a reading on a message from your inner shaman. I do want to say thank you to anyone and everyone that continues to be a supportive part of this journey. I'm truly honored to be sharing this time and space with you. And for anyone that is new here, welcome. This is that reminder that we're all here sharing this human experience together, and that this is a safe space to show up as your highest, most aligned, loving, authentic self. And should these messages happen to resonate with you, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe down below. With that being said, though, let's go ahead and hop to it and find out what is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman. What would they like to be said here today, source? What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? What do they need to hear? What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? Whoa. Someone's ringing the bell. I almost knocked that over, so. Okay, we've got the 6th house, North Node, and Sagittarius energy. Yeah, the bells of change. Things are shifting. That's really been an underlying message this whole reading, right? But it does feel like things are shifting actually with your health and with your daily routine. Like you're making a small change, and that small change is making a huge impact on how you're able to show up for yourself. So maybe you're waking up earlier, maybe you're starting to work out, or maybe you're continuing a workout regimen that's been working for you, or you're starting something new. This really does feel like you like doing it, though. Like it's actually adventurous for you. You're like, okay, I really like showing up like this. I really like being able to be in this energy. And this is all a part of your journey. This is a part of you coming up into your highest aligned self. This is part of you really, truly coming into that space of knowing what it is that you're meant to be doing and how you're meant to be showing up each and every day. It does feel like you're going to be traveling a lot more, or feeling like you're ready to travel a lot more. And if you're not like, well, I'm not into traveling, then it's just like having more fun with your day-to-day routine and having more fun with your life and really taking care of your health and really being able to work in harmony with your coworkers. It's like if there's ever been any kind of tension there, that's going to be released. And it's actually because you're taking care of yourself, right? So whatever it is that you're doing, it's really this self-care that's coming through. And this self-care is helping you to disconnect from the tension, from the drama, from all that stuff that's going on outside of you, and really internally focus that energy and that light. And it's like shedding a beam right on top of your soul light, and you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like this is what I've been waiting for this whole time. But you know, you didn't know to do that then. This is something you started to do, maybe because it's still at the beginning of the year. It could have been a resolution. This could be something that you've been working on for a long time. whatever it is, it's just you realizing, like, you focusing your energy back on yourself is really helping you to heal and to let go of the way other people are showing up. There's another message that's coming in that's very specific as well, is that someone here had an animal that might have been injured, or was you were really worried about if you were going to have to say goodbye to them. And it does feel like you're going to be able to have more adventures together. Now, there are some here that might be, you know, too old to have a comeback, but this feels like someone that, like, I don't know, this is a very specific message, and this might be triggering to some people, so I'm just going to say that right away so that you can mute it if you don't want to hear this. But it feels like someone's dog got hit by a car, or like really injured in that way, maybe by a bicyclist or someone on wheels. Someone on wheels that got hit by someone that was in wheels. And the injury was very scary, and there might have been a huge vet visit, and there might have been surgeries as well, and like just this fear that like you were gonna have to say goodbye, and just this feeling like it was way too soon. It could have been really, it just feels really scary. And they're saying like everything's gonna be okay. And that is so specific. I know that's like gonna resonate with maybe one person, so just okay. But I feel like overall, this is more about how you're getting along with the people in your daily life, like the people you see the most, and where there's been a lot of tensions, where there's been a lot of frustrations, like that's going to be at ease. And you're going to be like, okay, I know now, like focusing on myself is what has brought this back into balance for myself. And you're not going to be so worried about the things that you were worrying about before, like maybe deadlines or things like that. Like you're just going to be able to do it, crack down on it, and get things done in time, and not focus on like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough time. You're going to feel like you have enough time for the things that you need to take care of. Yeah, there's a lot of energy with this dice. All right, let's see what else comes out for you here. Does someone have psoriasis? Because I feel very itchy all of a sudden, like so random, just started itching. And so maybe you're wondering if you're going to be able to fix your psoriasis, or, you know, if this new medicine that you're trying is going to help. And so I feel like that's something that is going to be looking up for you, but it's going to take some time is what I'm hearing. Another, wow, pile 3, like some really specific messages coming through here. Well, I'm glad I said it, because all the itchies went away after I said it. So yeah, I'm so sorry you have to deal with that. Like being itchy is just no fun at all. Yeah, so they're saying to keep on the medicine and to really take care of, like, find some kind of regimen that's going to help you take care of yourself, and sticking to it, and you're going to see some positive outcomes from it. Even if you're doing something that's natural, like the message is just consistency here is what's going to show you an improvement, okay? Okay. What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? Thank you. What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? What is the message? Thank you. What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? What is the message from pile number 3's inner shaman? Thank you. I just got a weird feeling of loneliness all of a sudden washing over me. Like feeling like something's wrong and I'm never going to have people in my life. And they're saying that that's not true. But the more that you feel that way, the more that that's what's going to manifest in your life. So finding out, like, how can you begin to enjoy your own company? How can you begin to experience fun and play with yourself again? And that's going to really help you in letting go of this feeling like you're always going to be alone, because when you truly enjoy your own company, you're never alone, right? Oh yeah, so we've got the Eight of Swords on the bottom in the reverse, dealing with a lot of fears and anxieties right now. There's been a lot of worry. That's the feeling here. A lot of worry on your mind. A lot of things that have happened. I'm not surprised that this came out, especially with some of the specific messages that I was getting. It's just there's a lot of worry and a lot of fear that things aren't going to work out for their higher good, or like worrying that the highest good is going to be something that is detrimental to you, right? And a lot of the message here is your inner shaman is reminding you to focus on where your thoughts are going. Like, where are you focusing your thoughts on? Are you focusing on the worst possible outcome? Or are you being hopeful? And sometimes in some cases, we also have to surrender to not all of life is going to work out the exact way that we always want it to. That rarely happens. So being open to potentials is fine, but getting stuck and going down the rabbit hole of these potentials and that becoming all you're concerned with or all you're worrying about each and every day, that's where it gets overwhelming, and that's where it really uproots us from our highest vibration, right? And it puts us in a lower vibration, and then we might start to manifest things that we don't want to see in our lives, and we're like, what the heck did I do wrong? And it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just understanding where your thoughts are going is going to be the main key here in helping you to look, and the Magician in the reverse, and helping you to manifest what you want. Yeah, worrying about like maybe someone, I don't know why I'm getting this, but it is coming through. Maybe someone is interfering energetically or spiritually with your journey, like feeling like someone has nefarious means towards you. And your inner shaman is saying, no, it's like the more you're worrying about this, the more you're focusing on this, the more you're actually tripping yourself up. And because I need someone or something to blame, it's keeping you from focusing inward and saying, okay, what am I thinking about in this moment? Like when I'm so nervous or when I'm so nerve-wracked and worrying and anxious, like what is going on internally? It's like trying to find someone else to put the blame on, or something outside of you, or something spiritual to put the blame on. Like, oh, it's the devil, or oh, it's a demon, or oh, it's someone who's practicing black magic, or oh, it's someone who's casting a spell on me, or, you know, it's like the more that you try to say these things, like the more that negativity is going to manifest in your life. And so instead of focusing on that, rather come into this like, whoa, hold on. What am I actually thinking about when those thoughts come up, right? Like, what is the instigation of those thoughts? So, oh my gosh, I don't feel like I'm good enough to manifest my desires. Oh, someone's coming in with negative energy and they're projecting on me, right? So we're trying to strip away that blame and come back to this place of like, what's going on behind the blame? And focusing on that instead. And it's interesting because this whole reading, like every pile has dealt with some feelings of shame and blame and resentment in different circumstances. And you could be watching all three piles. And if you do, leave a purple heart down below. That's the Purple Heart Club. That's for anyone that sticks out all three piles with me. I know what that means. Or just say that I made it. And I truly do appreciate you doing so. But I feel like it's interesting because there's different scenarios that are coming up and where this blame and shame is being highlighted at. And the inner shaman is really working with you on this at this time. Yeah, and it's interesting because it feels like you're in this mindset where the reason why you haven't succeeded with the Six of Coins in the reverse is because someone else is overpowering you, or someone else has control over you externally or internally. Like in other words, the message here is you're giving away your power, and you're not actually seeing that you're giving away your power, because it's just that societal belief of we have to have someone to blame, right? Yeah, recommit to your journey. Okay. The Lover in reverse. Okay. And Judgment in reverse. Okay, so family. So we're dealing with a family wound. Or we're dealing with just crazy family members, right? So take it as it resonates. But it's just like family here that doesn't want their dirty laundry aired out. They don't want people to know about what it is that they've experienced. So it's like if you're sharing your story, Maybe there's family members here who are trying to make you feel bad about sharing your story, or when you try to share your truth with them, they give you the silent treatment, or they try to tell you or convince you that's not how it is. And so maybe that's where the blame is coming from as well. It's like blaming family and saying like, oh, well, you know, they're the reason I'm so messed up. Like, they're the reason I am the way that I am, or they're constantly trying to make me fail, or they're trying to see me in this light of like I'm not good enough or whatever. And it's like, I mean, even if your family is seeing you like that, for us to believe that, we have to believe it about ourselves. So if we're holding on to it, chances are there's a part of us that somewhat agrees with that projection, right? And that can be resistant to, like, there's a lot of resistance there to accept that, because no, I don't want to think that way about myself, but that's the shadow, right? Like, that's what the shadow does. And the shadow, it lurks in the shadow. So sometimes we don't see it. It's not something we're going to pick up right away. But it's actually very blatant in how it presents itself. But it's very clever in the way that it creates dissonance in our lives. And so we always have to be paying attention to that. But here's the thing, it's like you've been hurt, and with the Lover in reverse, I feel like this is pointing at like past relationships, like maybe you've been cheated on, or someone really betrayed you in a relationship that you thought was going to last. And it doesn't even have to be a romantic partnership, right? This could be even a friendship, you know, where you lost a friend, and suddenly like you were best friends one day, and then the next day they have this new best friend and they stopped talking to you, and you're like, what the heck happened? And they never told you what happened, right? That's a betrayal. Right? So it doesn't necessarily have to be you were cheated on by a lover. Like, that could feel like you're getting cheated too, right? Because I had this friend, and then one day, and then the next day, now I guess we're not friends, but I don't even know what the reason is behind that. Like, what the hey is going on, right? And so it's like finding difficulty in committing to the journey, but what you're not seeing right now, what's going to become very clear for you moving forward, is that you're actually learning how to assist others on their journey. And for some of you that might not appeal to you, but it's actually gaining a deeper wisdom to pass on. You're going to be passing this on. You're going to be an instructor. You could be in counseling, education, knowledge, those things. And you could become like a marriage counselor. You could help people around you who are in marriage, who are in relationships or connections. And it's like feeling like, well, why did I have to go through that burden? But actually, there's going to be a lot of people who want to come to you for advice because you have overcome it. And the blame, when you work through the blame of yourself and even of others on this journey, and you release that, you're actually going to find a sense of joy in being this teacher for others. And it could be, like I said, it feels like a marriage counselor, but it doesn't have to be. This could just be like a counselor in general, or a therapist. Working in psychology, you could be working in medicine. You know, it's like helping others go through something and overcome something. And health, especially here, right? With the Lover card in the reverse, and even the 6th house, this could absolutely have to do with health, right? Like our well-being. I feel like right now there's this confusion that's coming up. Like, I'm not sure what I need to do. It doesn't surprise me, because I am feeling like, but I mean, I get the messages. It's just a weird energy, and I feel like that's coming from that loneliness too. It's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Like, excuse me. I don't know how to react in this situation. And maybe there's just too much noise and drama around you, or you're having problem with your parents, or you've had problem with your parents, or you're having problem with your children, and it just seems like nothing is ever leveling out. Like, things are just chaotic all the time. And it's like, even if you're trying to open up and come from a heart-centered place, it just feels like even more and more things are piling up. And that's why it's so vital for you to focus on yourself, because I feel like right now is a really dicey time just in general. Like spirituality, everybody's waking up. Like there's a lot of beliefs that are being challenged. There's a lot of blatant things being thrown in our face and how people have manipulated us across all kinds of levels in this world. And I feel like the thing is for you, pile number 3, like you're also feeling that very heavily. And you could be one that's awakening or has awakened to your spiritual journey, and that's testing your family, and that's testing the ones that are closest to you, even kids or your parents. And it's like you're seeing things that they've never in a million years thought that they would ever even understand or see, and you're trying to explain it to them, and they're just pushing back, and they're trying to make you feel bad about where you're going and what you're doing. And the reason being is because you're challenging their beliefs and the foundations that they've have built a whole life on. So imagine if you're a child, and this is just an example, you know, this can absolutely resonate with you if you're the parent. But if you're the child and your parents are much older than you, right? However old, and just say like you're 30 and your parents are both 60s, and you know they've spent 60 years believing this way. And so here you come in and you're younger than them, and suddenly you see life in a much more grounded way than they ever have in those 60 years. And you're trying to explain to them this prospect of how to see it, and it's shaking their foundation, and they're going to give pushback, right? Because no, I can't stop believing the way that I believe because this is just who I am, right? You can't teach an old dog new tricks, but the truth is you can. It's just that stubbornness. The moment someone says, this is who I am, is the moment that they're saying to you, I'm not going to change because I choose not to. Like that's a person just basically saying like, I choose not to change. Right? So instead of trying to force that, we have to focus back on ourselves. I feel like your inner shaman is telling you, like, come back to yourself. Come back to focusing on yourself and let go of that drama and let go of that, like, you're already bringing a lot of unpleasant realizations into this situation. It's not your fault. That is not your fault. It's just a part of the spiritual journey. The people who begin to raise their vibrations are obviously going to make people start to question their surroundings. And a lot of people, they don't want to. And if the spiritual journey was easy, there would be a lot more people doing it. Right? You would be surrounded by a lot more people who are like, yeah, hey, let's do the spiritual journey because it's easy, right? But it's not an easy thing. It's a very challenging thing. And I feel like your inner shaman is just reminding you, like, all these things are happening because you're challenging your own internal beliefs, and you're letting go of old structures and habits and toxic patterns. And through that release, it's challenging the foundations around you, foundations that helped build the foundations, the same foundations that you had lived in for so long. And so you start poking holes in those foundations, and people are going to be like, stop. No. Don't. Why? Because it makes them feel uncomfortable. Even though they're already uncomfortable, or like, what is it? You're comfortable in an uncomfortable situation, but it's like they've already resigned to that discomfort. And so now they're comfortable there. So when you're trying to tell them, like, I'm trying to make things more comfortable for you, like, no, I don't want to try on any pair of shoes. I gone done walked these shoes for 60 years of my life, and I'm going to keep walking in these same shoes, no matter how many things come up that show that those shoes are torn and broke down, and they got holes in the bottom, and really they'd just be better walking barefoot, because technically they are. They've just got a shoelace tied around their foot now because there's no shoe left, right? The foundation's gone. It just doesn't even exist anymore. Yeah, so we've got the Six of Wands, and the interesting thing is this is what it looks like in the upright in this deck, but it's in the reverse on this deck. And so it's like, yeah, there's people around you right now that are just filling their greed. Like, they just want to have their 2 cents. They just want to have their cake and eat it too. They just want to be seen. They want to be heard. And so they're trying to really battle back. And I feel like there's a lot of people trying to draw you into this drama. They're trying to convince you that you're lazy. They're trying to convince you that you're being crazy. They're trying to convince you of all these things, and that anxiety is flaring up. That worry is flaring up. And it's just saying here, it's like, don't let that be what stops you from manifesting what you want, right? These people, that's exactly why they're doing it, because the more you manifest what you desire, the more you shake those foundations that they believe are solid, which have been crumbling apart this whole time. Yeah, someone's very overbearing here. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep. And you're building a solid foundation with the 4 of coins. Yes, that's exactly what I've been feeling. And the 8 of swords coming out again, this time in the upright, still dealing with the anxiety. It's really not different when it's in the reverse of the upright. One is fear, one is anxiety, but they're both just like worrisome thoughts in our minds. So one just creates overbearing worry or overwhelming worry, and the other one creates overwhelming fear. I mean, they're really not too separate from each other. But here we see it's like the anxiety is at play here. And then here we see your solid foundation it's biting back and creating anxiety within these people around you, that they don't see your value and your worth, or they don't even see the value and worth of your journey. And the thing is that the more you focus on yourself, as strange as this seems, seems counterintuitive, but the more you focus on yourself and the more you build that solid foundation for yourself, the more it eases tensions between you and these individuals, because you're setting a boundary saying like, nope, this is me time. Like, this is me going and working out, or this is me going and meditating, or this is me and going and having a cup of tea out on the back porch, and no one's going to bother me for the next 20 minutes. Right? Like, you're setting these boundaries and you're saying like, this is it. Like, it's breath work. It's like, I don't care if you don't see my headphones on. Don't bother me. I will talk to you when I'm ready to talk to you. But until then, don't bother me. It's like, you're basically saying like, this is my me time, and don't interrupt it. And that actually eases tensions, because this person, whether they like it or not, they're getting forced into respecting your boundaries. Even if they've tried to step over those boundaries, like, the more you focus on yourself, the stronger and the louder your internal energy becomes. And it's like, there's this story that they're showing me right now. I read a long time ago, and it was talking about, I think it was by Rebecca Rosen. She's a famous psychic medium, and I think it was in her book, Spirited Away. But she mentioned that she went into a yoga practice once, and this lady came in, and this lady had this crazy energy. Like, she just immediately started complaining about her day. She was just talking to anybody that was around her that would listen, and she didn't know anybody there. She was just spouting off. And Rebecca Rosen was like, oh Lord, like, none of us want this. We're all here just to practice yoga, to come into our Zen. And she couldn't even focus on the practice. And so Rebecca sat there for a moment. And in that moment, she just opened up her heart, and she just started pouring love into this person, not saying anything, but energetically imagining just massive amounts, like copious amounts of love overflowing this person. And a few minutes went by. Suddenly, saying nothing at all, this woman rolls up her mat, stands up, and moves to the very end of the room where no one's at. So people will respond to that energy. That's exactly what it is. It's like, they can keep trying to go across your boundaries, but the more loving you are of yourself, the more that love becomes the shield for you. And that's what they're saying here. And that's what your inner shaman's message is to you. It's like, the more you pour into this foundational building and taking care of your health and taking care of yourself and finding the joy in the small things day in, day out, like, the easier it becomes for you to really shield yourself from people who, are trying to get you to switch up off your path. Okay, so let's see what else comes out here. Look, we've got house 2. Yeah, self-worth is a big thing coming out here. Physical security, possessions, material values, self-worth. This is going to help you with your self-worth as well. And you're not going to be focusing on them anymore. North Node energy again. Destined to have Yeah, so it's not even just about sex. Like, you're just destined to have peace in your life. It might not be right now, but you're working towards that. And that's the message from your inner shaman here, is like, keep working towards that because it is doing good things. Trust your angels, number 36. Let go of your expectations of how your dreams will come true. Trust that heaven has a perfect plan. I love that this card came out exactly when I was saying what I was saying, right? It's not about it coming today, but the more you work towards it, the easier it will be, and you are getting there. It might be slow and steady, but still, slow and steady wins the race. On the bottom, embrace this magical moment. You are in the perfect energetic space for manifesting miracles. Allow your wishes to be fulfilled. Yeah. So let the things that you desire come to you. Right? They will come to you. All right, we've got on the bottom, pure white dragon from Orion transforms your ascension knowledge into pure wisdom. Process what you know. Act with truth and honesty. Let your wings of light grow and expand. Yeah, you're absolutely raising your vibration, purifying your soul right now. And purification is always a very uncomfortable phase in our life, but so worth it. And once we get past it, we're like, oh, I'm so glad that happened. Like, we have Melahel and Chumhachulad Chadlu, Chumhachadlu. With Melahel has spoken, I am the light in the darkness. I will guide you back to divine love. All lower energy must bow before my power. That's what I was saying. Like, love is going to be the healing energy in your life. It's also going to be the thing that protects you. Like, all other things must bow before it. They're basically just going to either vibe up or vibe out, and let them. Like, do not play a part in how they show up. Just play the part in how you show up, and be that loving, kind, caring self to you, and let that love pour out. And sometimes, you know, you might have to give copious amounts of energetic love to someone so they'll leave you alone, because if someone's in a space where they can't love themselves, that's going to overwhelm them, and they're going to be uncomfortable in that. And so they're going to leave. They're going to be like, I can't handle this energy right now. And they might not even know why they're leaving, but they're going to leave, right? So we have Radia and Nis with Radia has spoken. Your inner servitude is over. Your beliefs and dependencies are melting away. I am awakening the magic that will free you. Know that freedom begins in the thoughts. Yeah, so letting go of those thoughts, like I said, it's like if they're telling you that you're never going to succeed, and it's like, oh, it's your fault that I'm not succeeding. Like, really, in reality, a part of us, there's a part inside of us that says, I believe what they're saying about me, right? Even if we don't want to, if we're accepting it, if we're trying to place blame on it, like, a part of us believes that too, instead of just saying, like, you, okay, cool, like, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. I can't change that. At the end of the day, like, it's like, you know, I'm sure you've seen people who are on YouTube, and I'm sure you've seen others. It's like, instead, I've seen people who attack the people who say things to them, like nasty things to them, but there's always going to be trolls out there. And the more that people attack people who are trolling them, like, the more it shows their insecurity of themselves and where they're at. Like, I have to say who I am, rather than just saying, hey, I'm not for everyone, and that's okay. But I'm going to be for some people, and I'm going to show up for those people. I'm not here showing up for the people who aren't for me. I'm here showing up for the people who are for me. But you have to be okay with yourself, and you have to be so okay with yourself that no matter what other people say, you're like, you know what? Sticks and stones, brother, sticks and stones. Right? Because and we're always saying, well, words can hurt us. Words can hurt us. They hurt us because no one's taught us how to deal with ourselves emotionally. But the more you develop emotional maturity, the more that becomes a reality in your life, where it's like, words really don't hurt you. Like, say what you want to say about me, because at the end of the day, my success will speak for itself. My consistency will speak for itself. My growth will speak for itself. right? I don't have to prove who I am. And that's exactly what your inner shaman is trying to tell you here. It's like you have no reason to prove yourself anymore, because the only person you should be worrying about ever proving yourself to is yourself. Not what other people are saying about you, not what other people think about you. None of that matters. Kiwi, do a walking meditation each day for the next week. That's some straight up like advice. Like, do this and see what happens. That's what that feels like. So for those of you that feel like you should, yeah, definitely take that meditation walk every day and see what happens. Let's get some of these out on it. What else, source? What else is a message from pile number 3's inner shaman? We have the siren song. Beware that alluring tune that promises more than they deliver. Listen wisely, right? Like, and don't fall for people's weird, like, okay. Like, people be promising you the moon, like, I can make you manifest $1 million in 24 hours, or I can make you manifest the house of your dreams in 2 days, and like, whatever it is, right? Like, don't get caught up in the hype. Right? Slow and steady. It will always be slow and steady, because so many of us are letting go of old beliefs. Like, maybe there are people out there who can manifest that fast because they've let go of so much and they've healed so much, or maybe they didn't have as much baggage as we had. Who knows? Everybody's different, right? Or maybe that's just them in this lifetime. They're meant to do that. But the majority of us have to heal before we're ready to receive what we're asking for, because we have no idea what it means to be in an energy that says, hey, I deserve that, right? We're fighting with wounds, childhood wounds. We're fighting with traumas. We're fighting with people who don't believe in us, people who don't support us. Maybe it's different for people who supported you all their lives, you know, like, who knows? But if you're not in that energy, if you're not in that situation, the vast majority of us, it takes a while to actually get the hang of manifestation. And I feel like that's the thing here is, like, don't feel like you're doing it wrong, and don't feel like, well, but those people say they're doing it really fast, or I have friends who are telling me they're doing it really fast. But the question is have you seen it? There's only one video that I ever saw an instantaneous manifestation on, and it was absolutely incredible. This lady, there was a dog barking across the way, and she's like, okay, she's like, I'm going to accept that the dog is barking. She's like, but my manifestation is for the dog to stop barking. And she was going through the process, and she was like, okay, I'm going to open up my heart, and I'm going to sit with the dog barking for a minute, and then I'm going to imagine the dog not barking. And I'm really going to let that in. She's rubbing her heart chakra, and like 10 seconds into the video, the dog just stopped barking. And she said, this dog barks every day, all day long. Their owners leave it out. It's always barking. And she's like, I've done this so many times. And she's like, it only stops barking when I manifest it to start barking. And she's like, but I wanted to come on here and show you a small tip on how to manifest. And it was really about letting it in, being okay with the discomfort. What have we been talking about? Being okay with the discomfort and letting in what it is that we want. And so I feel like for you, pile 3, like the inner message for from your shaman is really that, like, being okay with the uncomfortable places that you've been, the uncomfortable places inside, and really opening up to what it is that you desire. Because there's like a person or a bunch of people in your energy that are creating a lot of discomfort, and it's okay. Like, this is helping you gain strength, and it's helping you find a very strategic way of showing up to show love for yourself. This is a dice of destiny. The dice roll freely, but control over destiny remains in your daily choices, your routine. Shape your future with intent, not chance. Don't leave it up to everyone else to make the choices for you. Right? We've got moments notice on the bottom. Fortune rides a swift slipstream. Position yourself to plunge into its path. Stay alert and seize swiftly. Go after what you want. Yeah, it does feel like there's a lot of good luck coming into your life, and that there's going to be a lot of things that are shifting for you. But it has to do with your daily routine. We've got abundance flying out on the bottom. Hang in there. You'll encounter all kinds of difficulties on the road of life, but don't give up. Hang in there. It's like walking in the dark. As long as you don't stop walking, you'll always welcome the light. Believe in yourself. Perseverance is victory. So keep going. Things are working out for you. It's okay. We have abundance that flipped over here. You're being asked to open to abundance, to believe that you're deserving of it. Isn't this what I was just talking about when I was talking about that lady who learned how to, or showed how to manifest on the video? And to believe that it will flow to you. This is the first important step towards receiving it. Breathe deeply and trust that it's on its way. But this open to abundance, to believe that you're deserving of it. I just said that, like, most of us don't feel that way when we first start on the manifestation journey. Most of us get brought to this journey because of feeling disconnected or feeling like we don't deserve anything or feeling like so worthless, right? All right, what's the shadow aspect for this reading? Pile number 3's shaman message to themselves. Message from their inner shaman. Pile number 3, shadow aspect. Okay, it's that one right there. On the bottom, we have conquest. Just another notch in the headboard or the real deal. Actions speak the loudest, right? So it's like recognizing that you don't want to be a notch in a headboard, and you don't want this journey of yours to be a notch in the headboard. Like, you taking action towards your dream is what matters the most. But you've dealt with this a lot, right? Like what I was saying, like friends are like, oh, well, I manifested instantaneously. Why aren't you? Or, you know, like you said you were going to do it in this time frame. Why didn't you? Or whatever. It's not happening in their time frame, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. We have childish. Someone has to be the adult in the room. Maybe the term should be grow up or get out. Yeah, so I was saying like that earlier with maybe this has to do with parents or grandparents or aunties and uncles in your life. Like, it's like someone has to be the adult here, and it feels like maybe you've always been the adult, or maybe you've always taken care of them, and it's becoming really frustrating, right? It's like that's what they're saying. Like, they might have been in control at one point, but now it's up to you to really hone in on your actions and where you're putting your energy. And that's what matters so much right now. Let's get an angel number for you. It's an angel number for this reading. Okay, on the bottom, we've got number 11, patience. Slow and steady wins the race. I can't make this energy up. We've got calm, reflection, understanding, timing, awareness, and thoughtfulness. Changes are coming in your life, and you need to be aware of them. Don't rush to conclusions before you have all the information. Taking your time will prevent harm to others and ensure thoughtful decisions. Being patient is so important right now. All right, let's get a cosmic energy card here. Right out the bat flew out inspiration. Inspiration is everywhere. Capture your ideas. Go toward your dreams, right? Let the light bulb be the leading light in your life. On the bottom, embrace change, right? A lot of change coming. Embrace change and welcome new possibilities. You're transforming here. A lot of transformation in this reading, all across the board. It's definitely an energy that's going across the collective right now. Like, we've got the moon. Satisfy emotional needs, nurturing self and others. What we've been talking about this whole time is self-love. Self-love is what's going to get you to where you want to go. We've got Earth and Air Dragon. Represents a perfect balance of heaven and earth. Stay balanced. Ground your visions. Manifest your hopes and dreams. Right? Let the light lead you. The light bulb. Let the light lead you here. Feel into it. How you feel is important. Ooh, we got Camel. Trust that you have the resources to get through the challenges before you. Right? I think camels can go the longest without water. They store water in their hump, and then like they're able to go a long time without water. So it's like feeling like you don't have enough sustenance when you really do. It's within you. That's what keeps you going. Innovation. Constant innovation means not being satisfied with the status quo and being willing to try methods and ideas, new methods and ideas. Whether at work or in life, innovation can bring new opportunities and surprise. It can make you stand out from the competition or make your life more convenient and interesting. Okay, so there's a lot here that you're innovating, inspiration, creating. Like, keep creating. That's good for you, right? You may have also come from another pile, okay? Look, mirror, reflects your own issues. Like attracts like. Yeah, you might have definitely come from another pile. You don't have to. That's all right. But this is another confirmation for you. So didn't we have that earlier? Like attracts like. Wasn't that on one of the cards? Which card was it? I swear that was on one of the cards. Maybe not. Okay, but anyways, this is like all about looking at yourself and the part you play. Look at how the sun just started coming in. Can you see that? It just came into the reading. It's been snowing all day. And then here the sun. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Looking at your own reflection and the light came in. Let the light lead you. Let the light lead you. And the light came in to shine on this mirror card. Looking at your own reflection. That is so synchronistic. Let's take a look at your angel number. Soul purpose. The North Node. 7. Life path. Divine guidance. Success. Alignment. Mission. Fulfillment. Your angels are pleased with your life choices and are letting you know that you're on the right path. Keep up the good work as you are successfully fulfilling your soul purpose and mission and life mission. How can I continue to align my daily actions? There's all about your daily actions here with my soul purpose and life mission. Today, acknowledge the progress you've made and take a moment to reaffirm your commitment to your soul's true calling. Yeah, this is all about you celebrating the small things that you've done to make a big difference in your life and also continuing forward with those routines, right? So let's take a look at your card. I'm going to read this from the book. Look at that. We've got Pluto. Number 10. This is the completion of a cycle for you. All right. We've got, I keep hearing that song. Is that an ABBA song? Gimme a man after midnight. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Isn't that an ABBA song? Yeah. Won't somebody help me chase the shadows away? Follow the light. Like Source and your inner shaman and your higher self are trying to help chase out the darkness. Follow the light. Follow how you feel. Amplification is a powerful tool, alchemical operation. Notice what thoughts and speech you amplify throughout the day and adjust as necessary. Where are your thoughts going? In palmistry, it is said that the energy of Pluto resides in the mound of the hand, above the heart line and below the headline. Locate your mound of Pluto. Right there where the picture's at. The underworld. Power and compulsion. Pluto's realm is one of the deep and undeniable power. Known as the planet of the underworld, Pluto has a captivating effect that pulls us into its depths, leading to all things excessive and Dionysian in nature. Images of the resurrection, possession, and sacred heart, birth, sex, and death are all symbols of Pluto's volatile energy. When this card shows up, know that everything will be amplified as if through a live wire. It's all about power and maybe even addiction. Through Pluto's force field can be ruthless. This tiny planet pushes us towards necessary growth. When we follow its mesmerizing pulse, we are taken into the depths to be changed. There's no point in pretending the underworld's not at work. Admit that you're in it and find the support you need. Not making it worse is a big accomplishment. To go deeper, watch the movie Labyrinth and to ponder the miracle of small things. I believe Labyrinth is on Hulu right now. Here's the thing, like we were talking about that earlier, like you're making people around you question their own reality, and that's creating a lot of, it's like stirring the pot, right? Stirring the pot. There's a lot of dissonance that's happening right now, and part of that's because you're growing and you're spiritually growing and you're following your North Node, and it's really not weighing well with people who want to stay the same. But like I said, that like when someone says they're never going to change, or this is who I am, they're already saying, like, I'm never going to try to even understand where you're coming from. And so don't try to force that on them. Just leave them be and you keep growing, because one day maybe you growing will be the reason that they change. But they have to choose that, right? So this is really powerful reading. Powerful energy as well. if you feel like this is your reading, is there a little open hand? Just one hand that's like this? Like that? Maybe it's like a, I don't know. If there's a hand, just a hand emoji. An open hand like this. Leave that down below and say, I choose to reach out and grasp my spiritual journey and let the light lead me to dimensions unknown, knowing it will force others to question their own foundations. And I'm okay with that. If it resonated, it would mean so much to me if you were to like, comment, and subscribe below. If you're interested in supporting the channel further, you'll find everything that you need in the description box, including how to reach me for a personal reading, as well as how to join as a member. Oh, such a wonderful reading. You're doing an amazing job, pile number 3. Keep it up. With that being said, I do want to take a quick second to thank your guides, your spirit messengers, your angel source, and my spirit guides for coming through to give us this very powerful message. And until next time, pile number 3, stay human. Bye.